I'm going to turn it over to if there's any technical difficulties, you guys can throw stuff at me. Oh, Dallas! You blended? How do you blend in? That was our official photographer. So please smile for her. Come here.
Keep on, Jake was right when they asked me to come on more full time. I did get to pick my own title. I said, well, you're not paying me in money. I'll make it up for you in letters. That's what I do. But I do appreciate being here. Okay, so Jake and I swooped into a twin. To a Twin Cities Film Fest event or a comedy show, you get to say that tonight you were at a first, because this is our first ever comedy shorts and stand-up comedy night. So we appreciate having this amazing turnout. So we applauded a lot of people, but give yourselves a round of applause for coming out to support this organization. Throughout the night, we're going to remind you about some of the great things we do with the Twin Cities Film Fest, but I also remind you that we are, as Jake said, a nonprofit that really works hard in Minnesota to help give our filmmakers and our acting community then after that, some of my very funny friends, two of which are actually in one of the films you're going to see tonight, are going to here and do stand-up comedy. And then at the end of the evening, my best friend and very funny comedian Tiffany Norton and I, we do a live stream every Sunday as a community builder called The Black Unicorn and the White Witch. It is a pop culture talk show. Thank you. You should laugh at that name. If not, we'll hex you. Stay with us. So we're going to do a late night edition of the Black Unicorn and the White Witch, and during that we have some pop culture stories based around things going on here in Minnesota that we're going to cover. We're going to have some chances for you to interact with our streaming audience, and we're also going to do some quick interviews with the directors of our 3 films. Is that okay, everybody? Is that okay? All right, Jason is not only an amazing executive director, he is also our tech for this evening. So we are going to start with our first film of the evening, Pretty Young Thing.
Just out of curiosity, when do men stop thinking a woman is attractive?
Like pillow on your face as a comment after 3 p.m.
When your nipples face going down and out.
You need a knee lift?
Is that a thing?
You girls want another drink?
Hey, you ladies ever been here before?
No. I mean, it's not like we lose our allure, right? I mean, there's something attractive about it. Older women, it's more life.
Absolutely. But you ever see a photo or a video of yourself and you're sort of taken back, like, well, that's me? I mean, she looks so beautiful and confident. It's like she would just jump right into things without fear. But then it's worse you and better you at the same time, because the old me didn't know what it was like to love someone so much. I mean, more than you love yourself, more than you love anything. And that it's not about how beautiful you are, it's about being present for the people you love. And it's not about how hot your ass is, it's about, focusing on the people that are right there in front of you. If you care about the people that need you and need your help, and this is bigger than you. You know, it's like, are we sheep or are we goats? It's we are accomplished women. It's like, we do not need the fickle attention of younger men to make us feel good about ourselves. It's like, absolutely.
It's a nice place, isn't it?
It's okay. And you know what? I think you're the best version of you right now. I do. And I think, honestly, your house is still sick around. As is yours. PYT. Michael Jackson, pretty young thing.
Oh no!
Cheers. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, me too. You want to take me home?
Yes. You just got here.
Yeah. You want to get lucky? Oh, and just get your party. You always forget your time to pay time.
15 years, I think it's trustful right now.
See the class that they've seen?
No, but you can know.
And with us this evening is our director and one of the stars, Ricky Benjamin. Ricky, go ahead, stand up for everybody, Ricky, what's the guy who got the pen, the actor's name in real life? What's his name again? The actor who grabbed the pen at the end, the husband? Sam. So Sam.
Amazing.
Okay, so Sam is amazing. Sam is one of the only, I have a 13-year-old boy who happens to also be autistic. And so people are like, oh, I'm sure your kid loves what you do, and he does not care at all. Anybody who has kids knows that your kid, no matter how cool you are, your kid does not care, right? They're like, screaming boo. Like, nobody cares. You can be the coolest person, be an astronaut, they're like, you're just the one that's sitting on cookies. They don't care. So the only person, I've met 2 people in my whole life, and I've interviewed Kanye West, I interviewed the president, all these things. My kid has never cared. I mean, Sam, who's in this movie, and my kid cared, because Sam also used to play a show here called Choo Choo Bob. And that's the first time he's like, oh, Choo Choo Bob, I guess you can keep your cool card now, Mom. Thanks a lot. Priorities are different. They're very different. So, you guys had a good time at that, and I remind you at the end of the night, we got Brittany come up, so another round of applause for a pretty young thing. Are you ready for the next one? All right, our next film. Oh my gosh, every year, I laugh at all of our shorts, but there's a particular writing and acting and producing duo in the Twin Cities that every year when I see their movement, I just feel like I can relate, and I crack up. And that is Justin and Kristen Schock, who are back here. So whoever Kristen Schock. And so when I saw this film this year, I was like, well, they did it again. So now, here's their film, Quarantined with a Ghost.
But I think if we all rally together and get on the same page and are working towards the same goal, I think it'll definitely be.
Go ask your dad. Mom is on a call. Dave, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I get it. Yep, you have kids. We can just. I was just gonna say.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
I was just gonna say, you're so lucky that you live alone and don't have kids. And don't have a husband.
Yeah, I'm not living alone.
Did a basketball player just appear out of nowhere behind you?
I mean, chips. A hanker for some nachos.
I gotta go. So you're still living here?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that I'm living here.
Okay, haunting. I thought you had left, moved on, crossed over.
Can't. Unfinished business.
Well, I'm gonna be home a lot more now, so we are gonna have to establish some ground rules.
Rules?
Yeah, for example, if I'm on a video conference call, I can't have you going through the cupboards, moving things around, appearing out of thin air.
Actually, it's apparating out of thin air.
I am so tired of you ghost explaining to me.
You should have built your house where there used to be a basketball.
Fine. I will help you with your unfinished business
Really?
after I settle into my new normal.
Okay. That shouldn't take too long.
Voila.
Wow.
Take what you want, but leave me something.
Wait, so you're telling me that Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker's mom? Far. Well, that's when I retired from playing basketball.
Retired?
Yeah.
As in die, so we can't play anymore.
Tomato, tomato. You know, they should really secure those scoreboards just a little bit better.
Yes, we're still watching.
No, it's not it. While we're waiting, table for two down front, right here. Somebody come take advantage of it. There we go. See, this is what happens when you're the first of everything. You go tell your friends, like, look, they worked out all the kinks, you guys need to come to the next one. It's gonna be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Skip to that.
It's gonna be amazing. It's only like 5 3/4 minutes. You can just play the whole thing over again. If you wonder, this is our relationship tonight. We spend a lot of time going, you had one job, Jake. There.
Thank you.
Tom? I'm gonna finish the puzzle. Now would be a good time to apparate. Tom? One piece. I haven't been trying to help you figure out your unfinished business. I I enjoy having you around. It gets lonely, especially during these
Unprecedented times.
Goodness so selfish. You've helped me bake loaves of banana bread. We have watched endless amounts of mindless TV and finished countless puzzles. And when you come to think of it, we didn't really do anything.
The important part is that we didn't do anything together.
Absolutely wonderful. Did anybody else's quarantine go as well as that? No, not mine either. I just trapped my house with my 13-year-old. That's it. And he won't eat banana bread, so. Oh, wait, stop this. Pause that a second. Okay, everybody. All right. Okay, look. I'm friends about half the cast of this final film, and there's a reason why when I said we're gonna play in a particular order, this is why I picked this one last. Okay, first of all, everybody, do this with me. Ready? Arms up. Because you are ready for an experience. Prepare your body to go on a roller coaster, and I just asked you to lower that arm down into your leg. You ready, Jacob? All right, our third comedy short. Everyone, get ready for a great ride with Sugar Blasters.
He's ripped as shit. Yeah, it's a kid's cereal commercial.
You are comfortable with this?
Yes.
We gotta want to make some changes. Some additional items.
You know what, we'll talk about it. We really don't want to be making any changes today. Hey, Brian, there's some folks that like you to meet over here. This is Neil and Linda from Atomic Nail Cereal. They're here to see all the magic happen today. So glad you can make it down the steps. Good to see you, Bob.
Brian, it is incredible to see our money at work, isn't it?
Say, Bruno, I was looking over at the set there, and it looks really nice and everything, but I was wondering, where's the kitchen? That's a really good question. We're gonna put all the effects in post. It's much easier that way. Yeah, so glad you can make it down the set. Todd, if I can have a few words. Pardon us. Yeah. Our director has a few suggestions he'd like to make. He thinks the script is shit.
Justin's like, that was my Oscar. Right.
We should just talk.
Okay, let it buffer for a second. I'll stretch for a minute. That's okay. So, here's the thing. So, a couple of things that we gotta do here, like, just like everybody else here at the Twin Cities Film Fest, we built a whole streaming platform, so that we could do this and have these opportunities. And one of the things that we do is that we try to make sure that we do have a great opportunity to do a revenue share with all the producers. And so that's great because most of the time, like Lisa's here and some of my other friends are here, they know most of the time I'm a stand-up comedian. And so this is when I get to go places and use my vocabulary and be smart, hence the title. Like most of my comedian friends are over there in the back because that's where we always hang out. And then we get drunk, we're like, where were we? I don't know. And Jake said, I'd like to give her a job. Because choices.
You said you should give me a job.
Well, fair enough. That's kind of how the conversation went, but it worked out for everyone, Jake.
Next time we're gonna download this, because that's what I really wanted to do.
Well, you did tell me you wanted to download us. We also do a podcast, everybody. So Jake Satie and I do a podcast called Be Our Geek, and part of the reason we did it is because when I talk about geekly related topics all the time, but he is my podcast life mate because we do bigger. He has a real wife. We just fight like it. I fight with him more than his actual wife because she's nicer than I am. You're not where she is?
She is here.
She is here. Did she sneak in the bag? She's like, don't tell him I'm here.
watch this at the end. And continue
Okay,
the program.
we'll do that.
So let's just.
Let's give it a shot, we'll see how it goes.
Fucking Oscars here. That's what I say. He would like to try a couple additional angles. We got one of those guys, huh? Well, you hired him. Technically, the union did, but yeah, I guess I agreed to have him on set. Well, then you figure this out.
I have a few suggestions for the script.
Oh yeah, what would those be?
Maybe something like my son could have some actual fucking lines.
He has 3.
Yeah, and the goddamn puppet has like 1,000. Are you telling me some creep's hand of a doll is more important than my son?
The puppet is the mascot of the serial. He's really the focal point of the whole thing.
So you're telling me if he had his hand on my son's ass, it would get more attention?
That would definitely get more attention, yes. But you know what? We're not making any changes today, so
Thanks again for this opportunity.
you're gonna do great today, Billy.
Sit and spin, Brian.
Hey, Brian! Oh, thanks for the opportunity. Great script. I promise I won't let you down.
I'm sure you won't.
And I won't touch anyone's butt. Unless you want me to.
I'll let you know. Where are we on this first setup?
I don't know. Ask Mr. Additional Angles over there.
Will you just get everything in frame and let me know when you're ready for rehearsal?
Commercial?
Serial commercial?
Sure. I just want them to spice. A little pizzazz for the thing. Like, make it the fucking best cereal commercial ever. Like, all the fucking kids are gonna be eating this shit.
Cereal, okay? We're just gonna shoot it very basic, and if we have time, we'll do all the pizzazzy stuff in post. Hey!
What's that? Special director, you know? Really?
Yeah. He could have been unlocking his nose.
Do you figure he has any more?
Please?
Sure.
Focus.
Needs to discuss a possible change.
We don't wanna make any changes. Hey!
Hey, shit.
Cereal.
Brian, we'd like to talk about a few changes we'd like to see. Well, it's a little late for changes, guys. We'll see what we can do, okay?
Well, we were thinking maybe we exchange the boy for a girl.
We feel a girl can sell the cereal better. We can't change the character today. There's a whole casting process that goes on. It's not like I have a closet filled with girls that I can go grab one. Anyway, I thought you guys needed to get some notes in the script or something.
Oh, we can make changes to the script.
No. Well, what about the puppet?
What about the puppet?
We think it should be a monkey. You want a monkey to sell your space cereal?
Hell, every kid that's ever loaded his pants loves a monkey.
Oh, Tom Brady monkeys anymore?
Look, you got a boy and an alien. If you want a girl and a monkey, make some fucking Jane of the Jungle shit.
Cereal.
What's this about replacing my boy? Yeah, Brian.
Hey, look, this is a private conversation, guys. We'll let you know if it concerns you.
Oh, it does concern us. You're talking about replacing Billy.
Nobody's gonna replace Billy.
What about me? You're not gonna make me a monkey, are you?
No!
Hey, I talk about my ideas for this thing. I'm thinking touch tips. I'm thinking red focus. Energetic lights, flashing lights.
We talked about
Hold
this.
on, I want to hear it out.
Yeah, I want to hear more. And let me ask you, how do you feel about girls and monkeys?
Okay, man.
No, we are shooting a Sugar Blaster cereal commercial here. It is a simple commercial about a boy being saved from a gross boring breakfast by an alien with some new shit.
Cereal.
Shit. Cereal. We're not making any changes.
You're escaping from boring Earth breakfasts.
Okay. Are you holding?
Mind your own business, kid.
Did I fulfill my promise? Awesome. Thank you very much for watching. You can catch all of those on TCFF stream. Just go to our website, twincitiesfilmfest.org, and get all of them. That would be super, super, super awesome if you want to watch them again. And maybe you buffer less than our laptop. So that'd be fine. So, you guys have a good time so far. As I promised, this is a multimodal evening. Not only did you see some of our favorite Minnesota-based comedy shorts, we also get to see some of my favorite comedians here in the cities. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very fortunate. When I moved here to Minnesota and started doing stand-up comedy, I was very fortunate to find not only a great community of great performers, but people that I truly call friends, and they are all on your bill tonight. So give it a round of applause to all the performers you got tonight. Because trust me, if you are a professional stand-up comedian, we are very excited to see this good of a turnout because the quarantine sucked for us. And what was weird about it is it sucked not being able to see people in real life, because before that, our job was spending a lot of time driving to shitty places. Like one of the last places I performed before everything shut down was I was in Bismarck, North Dakota. You should laugh at that. That's an appropriate response. But I was performing at a theater, a very fancy theater in Bismarck, and my favorite person in the whole world came to the show. And that is an adorable, elderly, white lady. I love them. Pocket grandmas, that's what I like to call them. You have a lot of them here in the Midwest, you're familiar, right? Little old ladies are my favorite. If I could squirrel little old white ladies away in my purse, like sugar packets, there'd be so many at the bottom. I would forget Pokemon and Pikachu. Little old white ladies, catch them all! That's what I said. She was wonderful. She was laughing at everything. And I happened to be with my friend Tiffany, and then after the show, we were walking to the car, and I saw an adorable elderly white lady walking to her car, and I was like, thank you so much for coming. You were great. And then Tiffany says, we don't know her. Have you done that before? Because you use one little white lady for the wrong little white lady. It's awkward. It's terrible. How do you even do that? Confuse somebody for somebody they don't even look like. How does that happen? And I'm sure she was completely confused. I'm sure she got home and she was like, Linda, the weirdest thing happened today in downtown Bismarck. Out of the blue, Whoopi Goldberg just waved at me and said, thank you guys for sticking with me on that one, Midwesterners. Are you ready for your next performance? Take a step, put your hands together, come on. All right, I was so excited when this gentleman said that he was willing to come down here. He's actually one of the first comedians I met when I first started doing stand-up comedy, and he's one of the producers, the co-producers in Sugar Blasters. Give it up for Justin Caesar.
The co-producer, co-writer, and star.
Yes!
I just love it. I know a lot of you guys are like, well, I didn't think you could have stupider facial hair than in the movie, but here we are. But my wife said that she liked it. She liked the little curls, and I think she's just trying to keep me from getting laid. Because she used to, like when I used to go to do comedy shows, she'd be like, oh, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna flirt with all the girls, and I was like, boy, you are really overestimating my abilities and really underestimating the thought processes of your fellow females. I was like, look, I love you and we're married. I can't get you to have sex with me. What chance do I have with a woman I don't know? You know? We have 3 kids together, which I really love having kids because it's proof I had sex. I prove I've done it 3 times. And so I need 3 here next week. And I love having kids, and I figured out I figured they would eventually be smarter than me, but I didn't think it would happen as soon as it did. Because when my son was 3 years old, he outsmarted me at Target, and I was not expecting that. So when you go to Target, like as soon as your kids can walk, they no longer want to ride in the cart. You know, they're like, no, I want to walk. And you're like, all right. And you make a deal with them, right? And it's a deal you know that they're going to break. It might as well be a Nigerian prince because he's not keeping up his end of the bargain, right? Just thinking like, all right, you can walk as long as you stay right next to the cart. If you leave and you run away, I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to put you back in the cart. He's like, okay. Never gonna do that. So he's walking next to the cart, and the first shiny thing he sees, he just runs off, you know? I'm like, God damn it. And I go and I grab him, like, get back, you know, I told you to stand next to the cart, you will stand next to the cart, you will end up in the cart. That's not a cart. We're walking along, and he sees something else and runs off, and I was like, oh, God damn it, yeah! I go and I grab him, and I bring him back, and I go to grab his arm, and suddenly he goes boneless, just. So I'm trying to drag a 50-pound sack of potatoes back to the cart, and I'm just like, get up, stand up, stand up, and stand up, and use your feet, put your feet on the floor, and use your knees, stand up. If you don't stand up, I'm going to drop you on the floor. If you don't stand up, you're going to be on the, okay, here we go, 1, 2, 3, go! Oh my God, you're on the floor, you know how dirty that is! Please stand up. Please stand up. You look like such an asshole right now. Please stand up. If you stand up, you can have a snack and check out. And we're out. All right, you know. Like, how did he do that? How did he freaking work a treat out of the thing? That was never part of the deal. There was never going to be treats at checkout. And now he's working his way into a treat by being an asshole. But I finally figured out how to beat boneless, you know, because we'd walk into the store and he'd run away, and I'd grab him to drag him back to the cart and he'd go boneless, and I'd pick him up and I'd throw him over my shoulder like, ha 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 ha, what are you going to do now? And he goes, no, don't take me! No, don't take me! What are you doing? You're blonde hair, blue eyes, I'm brown and brown, and you're going to leave your mind? Yeah, all right, get some skills. Let's go. Yeah. So after that, I decided I needed to dumb down my children. So I just like tell them incorrect facts in the hope that they'll just be stupider. You know, like, I've told them and I've got them to believe that once every 400 years there's a March 32nd. Just double leap year. We got them to believe that the tandem bicycle was built first before the regular bicycle. Would have thought they would have figured it out when I used the word regular bicycle. But they're dumb now. Took them bowling and they asked about the bowling return mechanism. Like, how does the ball get back up here? And I told them, at the end of the alley, there is a very, very large hungry hippo who eats all the bowling balls and poops them out with such velocity that they make it back up the rest here. That's why you also have to wash your hands after you're done. Boy. My kids I took one of my kids golfing the other day, one of them, and then we got back home and the other one was like, I want to golf too. And I was like, no. You all can't pick expensive sports, okay? You know, one of you has to learn how to run or, do something cheap, And my son says, oh, well, I'll play soccer. And I was like, fantastic. Soccer is cheap, and in America, that's where we stick all the kids who are bad at real sports. So, it'll be perfect for you. And one of my daughters says that she wanted to play hockey, and I was like, I love hockey. So I leaned down and I looked her in her eye and her beautiful cherubic face, and I said, Fuck you. You know how expensive hockey is? That's never gonna happen. That's absurd. Come on. You're playing soccer too. Shut up. She whacked me with the stick, and I was like, all right, T-ball, let's do it. Talk about my wife. You know, I can't get her to have sex with me, but one day, we were waking up, we were getting ready for our day, and my wife wakes up, she's getting out of bed, she's like, ugh. I was so horny last night, I nearly woke you up to have sex. He's like, what? Say again? Nearly woke me up to have sex? No! Wake me up and have sex! Right? Nearly anything, you know? Like, listen to this. Right now, wife of mine, if you're in the mood, I'm in the mood, okay? I don't care where we are. We're driving through a McDonald's, fuck up my double, hop on pop, you know? Like, let's go! If you're in the mood, I'm in the mood. All right? Second of all, if you're not going to wake me up, still do it. You know? I've proved several times throughout my life that this thing will go off whether I'm awake or not. You know? Fine. Third of all, if you're not going to do it, don't tell me about it the next day. What kind of cruel game you playing here, you stupid harpy? You know what do you do? Why would you tell someone? I nearly made all of your dreams come true. But then I didn't. Like, who else would you do that? Like, would you do that to an orphan child? You know? Just in the middle of just, you know, hey, Jimmy, last night we found your family, but you were sleeping. Better luck next time. That'll teach you to sleep. All right, well, I'm Justice Caesar. I hope you guys are having a great night. Well, please welcome back to Shannon to put all this together. We love her so
Give it up for Justice Caesar. Justin is one of my few comedian friends that I like commiserate over having children with, because I also have a little boy, like I said. But I don't want to call him little anymore because he's 13 now. And he's officially taller than I am, but more importantly, weighs more than I do. Which is the important part, because that means as a mother, I successfully didn't eat all his snacks. That's the hard part. Because really, eating his snacks is really like, that's good parenting. Where the other parents at again? Where the other parents at? Well done. Okay, here's the thing. Let's look at this from a historical context. Let's look back to the feudal days. What did they have back then? They had a royal food taster, right? And what did that royal food taster do? Make sure that that food was not poisoned for those young princes and princesses, right? So that's all I'm doing. We need an example, right? We'll all bring this together. Let's use Doritos. We've all heard of Doritos, right? Let's use those as an example. All right, let's say you get a bag of Doritos. You open up that bag, you want to make sure that your kid has the right portion. So you get out a measuring cup, like you've all done, right, parents? You get that measuring cup out. 1 cup of chips, that's what they're supposed to have. But you want to make sure those chips are perfect and perfect for your prince or princess, right? So you have to have a sample taste, right? 7 to 9 chips occasionally, 7 to 9. It's a variable thing. That's it, it's a variable. You give them that 1 cup of chips, then you gotta roll that back down, right? We are all conserving, you want to good for this planet, right? You want to make sure you roll that back down tight. Sometimes a chip pops up. Gotta take that out too. Another 9 to 12. 9 to 12 additional chips. I think I'm the best mom. Every day on his birthday, I give myself a present. That's all I'm telling you guys. So, are you guys ready for your next comedian to take the stage? As I said, not only is your next comedian a good friend of mine, she has always supported everything we've done. We're so glad she's part of this Twin Cities community scene, and she is definitely a badass. So put your hands together for Becky Miller. Well, again, I am the oldest comedian. And last week I had a young comic come up to me before a show and he goes, "Hey, you remind me of my grandmother." "Your grandmother's gay, has ADHD, and smokes pot?" Whoa, we still gotta hook up. Because I gotta tell you, it's pretty slim pickings out there. I did have a date with a woman last week, really nice gal, and I asked her, "What's your coming out story?" And she said, "Well, I have been married to my husband for 45 years, and I started watching The L Word." Yeah, beautiful lesbians. She said, "I watched every season 5 times and realized I'm a lesbian." And I thought, "God, I'm just glad you were watching Dexter." So I don't have a girlfriend right now, so I do a lot of making love alone. So I'd like to just sing a little excerpt of a song done by Bernadette Peters that kind of explains it all. There's a special kind of magic to the touch of your own hand, and a special thrill knowing that you will for sure soon be feeling grand. It's a kind of love that fits hand in glove when the lips that you meet are your own. That's what it's like when you're making love alone. Oh, the sweet, sweet sound of your own breathing as the sky turns pale pink too hot. And a special thrill knowing that you will not catch God only knows what. It's a kind of love that fits hand in glove that you never have to postpone. That's what it's like when you're making love alone. Say alone. That's what it's like when you're making love alone. So I was recently diagnosed with ADHD. Correct. And I thought, well, that explains the 38 jobs. Apparently, I'm not on a career path. But I can't sit still. I get bored easily. I have this reoccurring nightmare. I'm invited to a party and they're doing jigsaw puzzles. And they say, come join. Only if you give me a hammer, scissors, and glue. So I don't like to learn how to do things. I just like to do them, which didn't bode well when I decided to take up skydiving. So I went to some of the classes, but really, how hard is it to fall? So for my first solo skydive, I get on a plane that's the size of a Mini Cooper. We get up to 13,000 feet, and all I have to do is just jump out the door. Well, in my enthusiasm, I jumped up and out and hit my head on the wing of the plane. I know! My water broke and I wasn't even pregnant. So I'm spiraling out of control, going 120 miles an hour, and my cheeks are a-flapping. I lost a dimple. Found it later on my butt. So I pulled my ripcord, I catapulted up into the air, and do you know, it took me a week to find my phone. So I grabbed the steering lines, I didn't have a clue where I was, and I saw some clearing, so I aimed for it. It was the Hammond Golf Course in Wisconsin. I came in yelling, "Ford!" Right over these golfers, hit the 9-hole. It was just about a hole in one. And these golfers come running up to me, they were so concerned, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just fine." And one of the golfers said, "Man, I didn't know they had flying hazards around here." Everybody's a comedian. So I ended up hurting my left side, which is the same side I had my motorcycle accident, the same side that I fell down the screen climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And you know, at the ripe old age of 65, I realized I gotta start landing on my other side. So, gained 15 pounds during the pandemic. Anybody with me? Damn. Drank way too much wine. Do you know you can get wine delivered to your home? Who the hell says there's no God? The UPS truck would pull up, it's like the adult version of the ice cream truck. The wine, the wine! So I learned a lot of new skills during the lockdown. I'm now a rapper. They call me Little Mill. You want to hear one? This one's for the boys in the boom, says the top down, and saying cool, and says, "When you go up and you love it, you bitch, not got sex on deck, like saying it out, really, my God, really, pop out, says, "Got a real nice bill, he's cold, he's dope, he might sell coke, he owns in the air, but I never fly coach, he's running on a trip, sailor on a ship, when make a trip, kiss on the left. You guys are great, thank you very much.
If she's gonna be a rapper, I feel like I should play her. I feel like. Give it up, baby. I didn't know I need my sound effects board for Peggy. Peggy, we're gonna do that more often. You can be our DJ. You won't believe this either. I used to work at a hip hop station. I was like, oh, they needed some salt and all the pepper. That's so nice. Thanks. Keep it going for Peggy, everybody. I just want to say thank you to a lot of our sponsors. So first of all, I want to remind you, thank you to our wine and beer sponsors, specifically our wine sponsor tonight. So to Stuart Sutherland from Johnson Brothers, they donated all of the wine that you were taking part of. So that was so another reason that all the proceeds tonight go to the Twin Cities Film Fest to keep them up. Also, can you please give a round of applause to my friend Jennifer Bonine from Red Rex and AI App Store over here. So later we will be live streaming to Facebook and YouTube, but Red Rex is a great social media platform that she's been building. It's going to be this great community where you can build up your own like virtual reality buildings and all kinds of things. So if you want more information on that, if you can build your own theater or school or anything like that, make sure you check out AI Apps. So, are you guys ready for your next comedian to come up here and take the microphone? All right, this is another person I need to take my glasses off. I've been friends with this gentleman for a really, really long time. It's been almost 20 years, right?
Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years. And he is one of my favorite people to hang out with, one of my most complex people to explain. But generally, one of the funniest people I know on this planet. So please, put your hands together for my friend, Joe Cocosello.
This is amazing. Is this not awesome? This is not, we shouldn't be doing any of this here. Right? Like she's like, time yourself because you only have 10 minutes. So it's like, all right, everyone buckle up, buttercups, here we go.
No. I said time yourself because I tell him 10 minutes and he goes for 45. That's not the same. I am timing you because I understand you don't know how time works because you spend too much time conditioning and you have all of the things. Just get all your things and then I can start the clock.
All right, start the clock. All right, okay, start. Oh my God, all right, it's great to see you. So during COVID, I turned 40 this year. So I started doing old man things. I listen to AM radio now. And one of the commercials on the AM sports radio was, you may have pre-diabetes. And I was like, what the fuck is pre-diabetes? Like, I know what diabetes is. Like, what is like, it's like everybody that just doesn't have diabetes yet. Diabetes is like, but no, they said you should get checked because 1 in 3 people may have pre-diabetes. Like, no, you. I'm sorry, darling. I don't know. I think it's the new restless leg syndrome. That's what I assume that's what it is. During quarantine, I started making a list of all the shit I wanted to do when we finally got back to doing stuff, and I made this giant list and I've been checking stuff off. But the top 2 things on my list, it was Civil War reenacting and LARPing. You guys know what LARPing is? Live action role play. Yeah. And I couldn't decide which one to put first. And like, which is the more important? And I was like, why do I have to choose? So who wants to fucking LARP through someone's Civil War? Don't look at me! It's like I'm a wizard and I run an underground railroad. Oh, I'm a New Yorker, I'm trying to be a Minnesotan. Your bagels are shit. You need to learn how to merge on the highway, the zipper method, and your bagels, you need to get better fucking bagels. That's the way. Other than that, the state is amazing. I love the parks that you guys have so much nature here. Do you guys appreciate your nature? Do you have, like, once a year you take a bunch of mushrooms and go into the forest? Then you're not appreciating the park system. You gotta reset that computer, kids. That's, you're out in the wilderness, you're like, I'm a fucking wolf. You're like, you come back and you're like, I'm a wolf. But yeah, pretty much bagels and merging. That's like the only couple things that I love. There's so many things that I love about. There's shit that you can do here in Minnesota that you can't do in New York. Like, you can literally go into any establishment, anywhere in Minnesota, and just use their bathroom. Like, you walk into like a mattress store, they're like, how can I help you with a mattress today? They're like, where's your bathroom? Like, it's like, it's in the back. You can't do that in New York. You can walk into a place and they're like, no. Like, it's like, it doesn't work like that. It's unless they know you. Because they're like, they used to know me back in Brooklyn, so it would be like, oh, American Spirit Yellow Wolverine, yes, use bathroom. You have the jiggle handle, very sticky. But you guys have shit that like New York and LA don't have, and we need to like appreciate that stuff. I don't know why we don't appreciate it more. I think Minnesotans take this shit for granted. Like one of the things, you guys know about this? This only exists in Minnesota and the Midwest. It doesn't exist in the big cities. The Lazy Susan. You guys know about the Lazy Susan? Yeah, in the big cities, they just have deep corner cabinets. That's what they have there, right? And I'm pretty sure the Lazy Susan was invented exactly like this. It was this guy, he was an architect. And he fell in love with this gal. He's like, I'm gonna build you a fucking house. So we built this house, they get married, they move in, right? It's a beautiful relationship, and then she's like, hey, there's this one cabinet in the kitchen, it's really deep, and it was just years of the fucking cabinet, the cabinet, like it's I built you a fucking house! And you can't stop talking about this one fucking cabinet! I'm tell you what, that's it! I'm gonna fix it for you! I'm gonna make these shelves, they spin around, isn't this amazing? I'm done, Susan, I want a divorce! And then like all the real estate people are like, dude, we love you're an awesome architect, you have these amazing kitchens, you have these cabinets that nobody has, like this, you have these fucking amazing cabinets, but can we stop calling them the shitty Susan shelves? turn towards Susan. It's the lazy Susan was born. So one of my favorite things to do in Minnesota, I don't know if you guys like to do this. I like to get really high and go to garage sales. Because it's the only way to sift through somebody's shit for a couple hours and find some gems. I found it's a book. It's called 14,000 Things to Be Happy About, and it's not like a regular book with like paragraphs and sentences and shit. No, it's just like a list of 14,000 things that this lady has. Like, has anyone gotten a book like this, like from a shitty friend that you go to a restaurant and then they know you very well and like gave you one of these and then you sold it to me at a garage sale? It's amazing. If you read the book consecutively, you can watch this lady go insane. It starts strong and she just gets real. All right, can we do this like a magic trick? I'll call on somebody, you say stop, and we'll see what crazy part of this lady's life is. All right, okay, all right, last stop on me. Stop. Okay, here we go. Radio knobs. Radio knobs. The knobs on the fucking radio. That makes this lady. That makes her day. And like it's took me a little move the dial around. And like it's radio knobs. Radio knobs. Right? All right. Okay, here we go. Italian salad dressing. There we go. Italian salad dressing. Yeah, it's a little zesty. This isn't a book. This is a comic. She has books and other list books that she does. Like if you're like a writer, you're like, why does no one want to buy my science fiction novel? Maybe set your fucking bar a little lower. List book. Right? All right, in the back. All right, in the back. Just whoever fucking thinks that I agree with you. There we go. Thank you. Operator assistance. What the fuck makes you happy about needing to call somebody because something's broken? I need assistance. I'm in an elevator. That's not very much. I need some operator assistance. I don't know. Can I read number 14,000? Can I read the last thing that this lady wrote before she killed herself? I don't know. Somebody get Wikipedia to make sure she's still alive. Do a fucking Google wellness check. But all right, tell me she didn't kill herself after this. All right, number 14,000. All right, everyone. Croissants in, donuts out. And then just like, editor finds this bloody manuscript, like a story needs to be told. People need to know about operator assistance. And they're like, what was yours? Radio knobs. Oh yeah, people people forgot how they love radio knobs. She must have had the worst friends, right? Like, oh, how you doing, Barbara? Well, we're eating croissants and pooping out donuts. And we're going to the hospital.
Give it up for my best teacher. You guys saw the sugar blasting. Now you know the director's like, we pretty much wrote a role where you show up and you just do you. And he went, okay, I'll wake up for that. Give it up for Joe. I hope you all having a fantastic time because I know him. You guys okay? I feel like we need somebody. Do I need to go get to something else? You're right. They're like, we're fine. You look confused, young man. Like, did she pick this? She's like, we have a thing. We're gonna go to this thing. And she's like, yes, I picked it. He went, yeah. You were doing the Lord's work by hanging out with her and all her weird friends. He's like, yes, thank you very much, I am doing the Lord's work. I wasn't gonna call it that. They're like 11 and a half. All of us are jaded old people who are like, this is young love, it's so perfect. Now all the jaded divorcees when they come and tell just shit on all your love. We had a whole movie just shitting on love. That was the whole thing. Now he's like, why did we come to this?
Or at least why he's in the front.
That's like, no, he was in the front. Hey, I can tell you, and all of the comedians will tell you, I am the nicest person to pick on you ever. Because basically I'm saying, thank you so much for coming. You are so much cooler than all of us that chose to come up here and talk on a mic. He's like, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like you should be at the Tokyo Olympics instead. Like you were too fit to be in this room last night. Are you an actor? Because I know directors, they'll put you in a film right now. Just for showing up. You don't even have to act, you just have to show up and not be drunk or high like all of our friends. It'll be great. His friends like, screw him, me, instead. All right, you guys having a good time so far? All right, your final comedian tonight, before we take our brief intermission and do our Black Unicorn White Wish show. I mean, I am so honored that I have get to call this next young woman friend for so many years. She has talked me down off the ledge time after time again. She is not only my comedy bestie, but my bestie in real life. She was Twin Cities City Page's funniest comedian here in the Twin Cities. So please put your hands together for my best friend in the whole wide world and the very funny Tiffany Norton. She's gonna make me spritz with them. Oh, that's the amazing Shannon Paul.
Oh, that's a hard act to follow. One more time for Joey Bocasallo.
Yes!
And the amazing Justin Caesar. I was reminded, I actually forgot that I did a film 14 years ago where we hired somebody in like a JKD limousine to drive us around Northeast and pretend like we couldn't find the gig. And we milked that. We drank a lot of stuff. And then the guy who was driving the limousine, he was trying to get in the movie. He just kept lowering the thing, and he had suggestions, much like the Sugar Blasters for people coming in. He's like, I think this is a line you could use. It's like, no, sir. The only line this crew could use is white. Pause. All right, that was going to start. I love doing stand-up comedy. I love the Twin Cities Film Festival because I am a cinephile. That sounds dirty to my mother. I think you guys know that's not. I like movies. I instantly fell in love with movies. The Karate Kid was really impactful as a child to me. Oh yeah, I saw it in the theater over 100 times in one summer. That's a lot of Montreal. My parents thought that they had a little bit of a problem. And they were more concerned because, see, here's the thing, on the surface level, Karate Kid is a beautiful coming of age story about a young man, Daniel, who moves around, goes from the East Coast to the West Coast, and he's bullied by people in his school, but eventually he overcomes his fears and conquers the bullies and wins the hand of the girl of his dreams, right? But when you're a lonely girl living in Woodbury, who's a latchkey kid, you get a very different message. And that message that I got was that if I really wanted to have a father figure in my life, I should go into my neighborhood and meet an older Japanese man. With a lot of colors. Which I did. Because I was in Woodbury. It was right next to Freedom. It was super easy. There was tons of engineers, lots of options. And they did. And they did listen to me talk about my day while I was taking my bath. And oh, okay, all right, no, I'm playing about that last part. They definitely didn't listen to me talk about my day. Also on television, way too much. People are like, hey, have you ever seen? And I'm like, yes. And then I told the whole anthology, and they're like, wow, That's the thing you could do. All right. Karate Kid, I talked about Knight Rider, huge influence. I loved the idea of something that would listen to me and respond. Much like my parents. That would have been cool, right? Kids, you could tell them anything, he backs you up, and he just come right around the corner, you know? So I've been fantasizing about this for a long time. Except now, we're all gonna get self-driving cars. Is this a good idea? I'm rethinking it now, because I do like to cocktail a little bit, and my cocktail, honestly, a lot of stuff in my car that I don't necessarily want acted upon. The car's not gonna know the difference, right? You're gonna say something, it's gonna respond, it's a computer, it's not gonna filter whether this is a good idea for you, like your friends would, you know? Like, let's just say, I'm feeling sentimental about high school, and my old high school boyfriend, Charlie, and then maybe some Chicago 17 comes on, little beautiful Peter Cetera, lulling me back to junior prom, when you dance with another girl. And then I started saying to myself things like, oh God, what's Charlie up to? And Charlie and I are actually friends on Facebook, so I know what Charlie looks like right now. Charlie looks good. He looks good. And he's got it all out there. Like, he's got the address, the phone number, like, he's not hiding, you know? So it's not really a stalk. If I just mention casually to the car, it would be great to see Charlie right now. And then maybe I fade off to sleep, little disco nap, as the Irish say. I was off with the fairies, and then I wake up, and I'm outside Charlie's house. Stalking rates are going to go up in this country as soon as that happens. And here's the thing, I'm perfectly happy on my own. I'm perfectly happy with the way my situation is right now. So I should definitely not be outside of Charlie's house. There's another reason why I shouldn't be outside of Charlie's house, because Charlie is married. Mm-hmm. And Charlie's husband is a lot better looking than I am. I have no place in that game. True crime shows is a thing that a lot of my friends like to watch. You just react. Are you a murderino? Oh God, that hands come up. She's like, and I noticed that the gentleman sitting next to her. What? Why are we obsessed with that? Why are we obsessed with finding out all the ways we can get killed and then sharing it with our friends? Well, here's a new way, you know? So what we were watching one of these true crime shows, and I think this is what actually led to the demise of my marriage, watching crime shows together. Because at a certain point, when you're pissed off at them, and you're watching a crime show together innocently enough, they will invariably laugh at a part you don't find funny. You're like, yeah, and you know they're on his side, right? So we're watching this one particular show, and it was this couple, they've been married for 8 days. They're on their honeymoon, all inclusive, Mexico, beautiful, expensive. And all we know from the security footage is that they were taking in a sunset next to a beautiful cliff. He said something. Her face did not look happy. He said something else, and then she kicked him off the cliff. I know, and right away, my ex is on his side, like he's the victim. Come on, he said something. What did he say? I love this. It's so romantic. No. What does the average wedding cost? $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? That's a lot of money to kick off a cliff before you got any chores out of him. He didn't go to bed yet. Kicks him off the cliff. I have a couple of ideas about what he said. First of all, I thought maybe she found out at that moment that he's a misogynist. That's right. And he thought that women didn't understand directions. And he challenged her that she didn't know the fastest way to the bottom of the cliff. But that's not even really, I mean, that's just being snide. I mean, like, you know your man well enough, if you're gonna marry him, like, those comments probably will up your back. What I think happened though, because this is a real crime, I think he said that he had been fooling around, like, maybe he had banged one of the bridesmaids. And then, you know, if a guy tells you that next to a cliff, is that murder? I feel like that's a little more along the lines of an assisted suicide. That's your fault. Thank you. I loved it. I don't know. Am I? Yeah. Let's break. All this in there. All in on murder. All right, let me take intermission. Go again. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, rosé fans. Yes Way Rosé. We drank all the Yes Way Rosé.
We did, we drank all this, which is not normally our brand, but they didn't
No.
have your Chardonnay or Marsala Blanc, but we appreciate it. So if you have a chance to go to the local liquor store and get Yes Way Rosé,
Yes.
go get it, that'll be
Yes.
great. So here's what we're gonna do, it's basketball at the bar, go ahead, refresh your drinks, run to the restroom, we're gonna be back here in like 5-6 minutes, and we're gonna start, we're gonna do our interviews and do everything else with our live stream. So thank you guys very much. Thank you.